Okay. Hello. Hope everyone out there can hear me. If not, if I'm just a person on a screen, feel free to say something in the chat room. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Eric. Eric's here. Cool. I'm going to give everyone a little bit of time, just maybe a minute or two to keep joining because people are still coming in. There's a little bit of a different experience for me. I think last time I did a presentation, maybe a few of you were there. There were other presenters that I was able to talk with, but today it's just me. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I've got a Fender Strat there, a 339, and whoop, where are we? A bass right there. Hope everyone's doing good. Please feel free to use the chat if you have any questions throughout the presentation. I'll try to answer them at the end. Okay, James is asking, do we have a generic link not tied to an email address he'd like to invite his team to join? I think Michaela is online, if she might be able to share that. But James, this presentation is going to be an overview for people who are managing accounts. If you'd like other team members to join that, totally up to you. That's fine. I just want to let you know we might be going through things that a typical user or agent might not have access to managing. So it's really up to you. I'll ask Michaela. Let me send her a message to see if we have a generic link to share, though. Hope that answers your question. Just give me 1 second here. Oh, Lauren's taking care of it. Thanks, Lauren. I don't have Slack on my computer right now, so it doesn't interrupt the presentation. Okay, we'll give everyone just 1 or 2 more minutes to join, and I'll just keep talking. If there's any questions before we get started or anything, just throw them into the chat. Okay, let's see. Take myself off the screen for a minute here so we can start sharing. All right. Okay. So I won't have the chat up during the presentation because I'm going to have this as full screen. So I will check on the chat at the end of the presentation for any questions. But for now, this is okay. That should be good. Give it 1 more minute. Okay. Just check this 1 more time. Okay. I hope everyone's ready. I think we're going to start the presentation now. Do we all feel good about that? Hope so. All right, one more time over here. Okay, go to full screen. So the presentation today is meant for you if you are an organization or an account manager. If you feel like that doesn't describe you, that's okay too. I think there's a lot of overlapping information between some training presentations that I'll be doing today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So if you've joined all of them, there will be quite a bit of overlap. And then tomorrow in the presentation and the next day, we'll probably get a little bit of a different experience. But if you're coming to all three, that's okay. I think it'll be repetitive, but hopefully it'll help retain some of the information. If you came to our summit last year, our Experience Summit, some of this might be familiar to you as well. And I also want to say this is kind of like the first day of your Experience Platform 101 type course. We'll probably go over everything in the system that you will be using. And then hopefully if you haven't already scheduled some time with your customer success manager or your contact here at Social Survey, we'll be scheduling some time with each of you to really do a deep dive one-on-one with at least the manager or a tier manager for your account. So to get started, the first thing I want to chat about is within each account, we have several different sections. So I think the menu illustrates a good way to divide out these sections. So you'll see here, there's this top section. This is really has everything that is the core of the app. When you log in, you'll see your dashboard, which will have metrics and reports and just an overview of all of the different products or apps or systems that our platform offers. So we'll go into that and you'll see a visual of that as well. We also have our hierarchy, which is kind of the backbone of our system. This is where you will set up your company structure, your location, any information that goes into profiles for your branches or locations, and also where you set up your users, agents, managers, and people like that. There's also a section for ingestion. This is where you'll set up your system to bring in transactions, something like Encompass, in order to automate your survey send. It's also where you'll go to set up any API stuff in the future as well. And then just general settings. That's all part of our core system. In addition to that, there's a section that we're calling apps, where we divide some of our different product offering into these different apps. For example, we'll go over reviews and how to manage reviews. We'll go into campaigns a little bit, how to set up a campaign, and some different features that you'll get in campaigns that might be different from what you remember from the current version of the product that you're using. And then finally, we'll go over some things on listings, which is a product that some of you may or may not be using. If you're not familiar with listings, it's our product that takes all of your profile information and for any of your locations or agents and publishes it to systems like Facebook or Google My Business and other listing-based websites out there. So to start with, if you are someone who manages or will be managing multiple accounts within our system, we have a new way to manage that in the current version of the product that you may be familiar with. If you're managing multiple accounts, say for your general, mortgages in one account, and maybe you have like an employee survey account or a call center account, and you're managing those three different accounts, maybe through a different login system. Now you can manage that under one login. You would come to our login page, our Social Survey login page, and it would take you to basically just a list of accounts. You'll see here, this is our demo account. We call it North Pacific. And in here we have a few different accounts, one for the retail mortgage, one for the call center, employee, and a few other accounts there. There isn't really much to know on this other than if you are managing more than one account, you'll get this screen. If you're only managing one account, you would probably log directly into that account. And if you ever in the future needed a reason to create another account, you could work with your CSM to create a second account. A good way to think of why we have separate accounts might be because you have a separate hierarchy structure. You might have different agents in your retail mortgage account than you would in your call center account. And so you can organize those hierarchies into different structures through different accounts. Same for like your employee well-check type account. You can send out surveys to your employees and have it in more of like a departmental structure than in your like direct sales account that might have it based on regions and branches, things like that. So when you log into one of these accounts, the first thing you will see is our account dashboard. On the dashboard, we just have a basic overview of the account that you're logged into. This rating would be a combination of all of the star ratings from the surveys that have been processed for this account. You can see an overview of how many agents or users are in the account, how many different tiers you have. This incomplete profiles metric would let you know if you have an agent that might be missing some information on their public profile. And just a nice reminder to help you complete that so you can have the full benefits of our profiles and get that SEO boost that having an online profile gives you. And then in addition to that, you have our survey completion rate. On this side, you also have a list of active campaigns. If you weren't aware of this already or haven't been to any of our presentations in the past, in the new version of our platform, we're now offering the ability to have multiple survey campaigns. And so that kind of takes us beyond the ability to just send a survey post-close. You can also send something mid-process or at origination or something like that if you're sending out a mortgage survey. You can also segment your users or your customers into different survey experiences. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go into campaigns. And then we also have different metrics on this dashboard, like your transactions and surveys. This chart shows transactions completed versus surveys completed. And then on this page, you'll also see things like different products. Like if you're using listings, you'll get some metrics on listings and leaderboard and things like that. You can also filter this page in a few different ways. If you wanted to, you can filter it by date range. So you can see your rating in the last 7 days, in the last month, in the last year. And you can also export a PDF of this page if you just needed like a quick like printable report of what's on this page. The other thing you can do on this page is on this this top informational card, you can filter this whole dashboard by any of the tiers in your account. So if you wanted to see metrics for only your San Francisco or San Diego account, you can go to this drop down that's right under the name of your company and select which area you want to see, and then you would get metrics on this page that are specific to San Francisco. All right, I'll move on. The other thing that you will see on this dashboard is a preview of the leaderboard. So it's this card right here on the right-hand side of my screen. And this just gives you a list of how all of your agents are doing based on the survey ranking system that you all might be familiar with. So we can see here that Michael is #1 in the company, and his average score is 986. And all of the cards on our dashboard will also link to other areas in the app. So for example, on the active campaigns, we have this view button. This would click directly into your campaign dashboard. And then for the leaderboard, we can see more details on the leaderboard. So on the dashboard, this is just a brief rundown with the agent's rank and score. But here you can see how many reviews they have, their social promoter score, their specific completion rank. You can also filter this by tier. If they're in a specific branch or department, you can only see those agents, or you can search for a specific agent's name to get their score. At the top of this page, we also have our top 3 agents in this account called out to kind of give a nice gamification overview of this. Okay, so I just got a question through Michaela. Sorry for the pause there. So everything that I'm showing here will be available in the upcoming weeks and month of February. We have a group of alpha customers. So if you are in that alpha group, you will probably be getting this first. And so your date to get all of this should be set up with your customer success manager. So I know there is a group that will be coming on between the 19th and the 1st. And then after that, I think we're going to be very aggressive in getting this out to everyone. So hope that answers the question on availability. If you have any other questions, if you're not aware of when you will be brought into this this new version of the platform, please reach out to your customer success manager. Okay, so as I said with the leaderboard, you can click into that view more button and it will take you to the leaderboard. I just wanted to show on this active campaigns list from the dashboard, you can click that view button and it would take you directly to your campaign dashboard. You can see here a list of these different survey campaigns that we have in this North Pacific account: customer satisfaction survey, a mortgage close survey, and a customer engagement survey. And we'll talk about this a little bit more towards the end of the presentation when we go into campaigns. Here's just a zoomed in view of the trend card. As I mentioned earlier, this is just a card that shows your transactions completed versus surveys completed. And there's also more data that you will continue to add to this to help increase your view into your account and how your survey campaigns are doing. So the next thing that I want to talk about is some things that you'll probably be completing more with your customer success, or if you went through an onboarding process in the past in version 1, you did this already. But if you ever needed to add a new tier to your business, you would do that from the hierarchy page. And adding a new tier is pretty easy. Everything we have is in this drawer that I'm showing on screen. You would come in here and you would give all of your business information, your location name, any tagline or description. This would all get published to your profile when you publish your profile. You could add in business hours, any contact information like phone number, website for that specific branch or region or agent that you're adding in. if there's a point of contact for that. And then we'll go into social links in just a few minutes about adding those. You can add in profile images, gallery photos. There's a lot of new fields here that are available if you wanted to add them to your social survey profile, but they are also good things to add for increasing exposure on something like Google My Business. Like Google lets us send other fields that we didn't typically have in the past. So if you're a listings customer, a lot of these new fields will be helpful not only for your social survey profile, but also for listings. So it's pretty easy to just fill this out and create the new tier. The other thing that is a little bit different in version 1 is, I want to actually skip ahead here. Sorry, this is out of order. So something that's a little bit different is when you create a tier, adding your address information goes through a new validation process. So it's pretty easy to do that from that drawer. You can just click that add address button that you saw. Or from the tier, if you created a tier without the address information, you would just click this plus sign that is in the on the hierarchy page at that specific tier. This is the California region. And we can go in and we can add a new address. It would validate it and give us a recommendation. You can see this one is 575 Market Street. That is the address I want to add. And then that would just add that directly into our information right here. So everything here in adding a new tier, it's just like a checklist. We've also added some little helpers at each of these. So if a specific field is required, we just put this little blue dot to remind you that it is a required field. Your settings can also be set from the hierarchy page. At each tier, you can have custom settings. Any setting can also be inherited by the children of that tier. So if you want a branch or a set of agents to inherit these, you can set those at a region level, and all of the children would get that. So you can see here, if you needed to change the name of a tier, you can do it here. If you wanted to disable public pages for a specific tier, maybe it doesn't have a location or it doesn't need an online presence, you can disable it here. You can also set up some things like social sharing settings and survey send settings directly from this view. Again, it just works like a checklist. You can go through each of these and make a decision on how you want to set those up. And then if you ever need to update your information, you can always come back here and change any of this information, like business hours or adding in special business hours. Say you are closed for a special bank holiday, or a specific branch might be closed. You can always come here and say, on May 5th, we are closing from 1 to 2 p.m. So pretty self-explanatory there. And I already went over this location. Just a deeper dive, if I add a new address, I can come here, fill out this information. You can also add in some other information that might help users if they're searching for you on something like Google My Business or directly on your profile page. You can add in cross street if you are at an address but on a specific floor, if there's parking available, or if your address is in some sort of mall or building with multiple businesses at that location. The other exciting thing is how we set up bulk editing. So in our last version, you were able to update things like a profile picture for multiple different regions or multiple different branches. Now you can go through and select, a few different tiers. So right here I have two different regions, McFarland and San Diego selected. And then I would go in and edit that information, and almost every field that can be shared can be updated. So something like a region name, you can't have two regions with the same name, so we don't give that under business information. But both of these regions can share a business category, or maybe you want to use the same description on two different profiles. Maybe all of your locations have the exact same business hours. It's really easy. You just select as many locations as you want. You can select every single location if you wanted to. And you'd come in here and update any field that you want them to share. Maybe you want them all to have the same profile photo, something like that. And then also for each of these fields, you can click this click through at the top and compare any information that they already have. So if you have two different business categories at two different regions, you could see the difference there before you update it. And then you can just save that information and it would update your profiles. Similarly, creating and managing users is a very similar form. You would just go to the hierarchy page, you would enter the user information, you can add alias emails if they have them. You can allow them to reply to reviews if you want, and you can also set the minimum score to reply to those reviews. And you can also assign them a role and a location. So this particular agent is an agent at San Ramon, and you can also go back and edit all of those settings after you've created the user. So with all of that information that we've updated and created for both our locations and our agent, we also have a new profile design. So this is for our public profile pages. You can see here there's a URL here. This is socialsurvey.me/pages/North Pacific. That's for this North Pacific company. On these profile pages, we'll have all of that information that you've entered in the information for agents or locations. We'll also have any reviews that apply to those locations, and this new agent widget that lives at the top of tiers and other locations to show which agents work there. You can click these and go directly to their personal profile pages. The view that I'm showing right here is actually a preview of the location profile. So everything here you can see is actually in our app. So there's the menu here and there's this top bar. All of this wouldn't show on the actual profile page, but everything under it would be exactly as you would see it. But from this page, you can also edit all of this information kind of in real time. And you can also choose to unpublish a profile from here. So for whatever reason, if you wanted to keep a tier active, but take their public profile down for some reason, maybe you're moving the tier and updating information, you can always unpublish and republish from this page. Each of these cards have, also have an editable area. So if I wanted to edit this information, I would just click one of these gears or edit icons. Also, our profiles are completely mobile friendly. So you can see this in context here on the mobile screen. And just in the same way that you would edit the information from the hierarchy page, you can also edit it directly from the actual preview page. So here, if I click this edit button down here next to the phone number, I would get something like this where I would be able to edit everything that's only in that card. So it's a little bit more of a focused view where you're only editing specific information. So if I only wanted to edit my description, I'd go to the description card and edit it there. The other important thing for our profile pages and for social posting of reviews is connecting to your different social accounts. So this would be two things. It would add the links to your profile page so someone could visit you on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. But if you're also posting reviews to something like Facebook or Twitter or something like that, you can connect here. So you would go to your social links card, or if you're on the hierarchy page, you can just scroll to the social links section in the information drawer that I showed. So I would click edit, I would go to this, I would choose something like Facebook, and we would click this connect to Facebook button. It would give us a pop-up that is actually generated by Facebook, and it would ask you if you would want to connect our app to your account. And I also just want to add, we're porting over all of your data from the previous version of the platform. There are certain things that we can't port over due to security reasons and things that Facebook has set up for us. So for your new accounts in the new platform, you will have to reconnect to something like Facebook or Google, and we will work with you to understand this a little bit deeper and help you get those links set up. So again, you would give permission to connect to Facebook. If you have multiple pages that you manage in Facebook, Facebook will send those to us, and then in our interface, you would select which specific Facebook page that you want to link to whichever tier or agent that you are updating this information to. When you click connect, it would then show in the social connection list that this account is connected. And I'll also walk through that with Google. It's pretty much the same flow, but there's a few things that are different. So again, I would click social connections, I would choose Google, and then under Google, I would select which Google account I wanted to connect to. And then if I manage multiple locations, I could select which location I wanted to connect to. And from there, I could enter any additional Google My Business information like the place ID. I would add that link, and then I would show that that is connected. And that's pretty much all you would have to do. Those are the two examples I have, but if you're connecting to something like Zillow, it would be just like how we have it in the last version of our app, where if you're a mortgage company, you would just enter your NMLS number or your profile. I think it's your profile name on Zillow, and that would allow us to connect to Zillow. So it's a pretty simple flow there. So if you're a listings customer, or if you are a future listings customer, there's a few things on this interface that I want to show off here. So when you come to the listings page, you will see all of the locations that you're able to publish. This is very similar to what you would see on like the hierarchy page. The difference is all of these are actual locations with addresses that you could publish. So if you have some sort of tier that it does not have a location, you would not be able to publish it. And you can actually see that here, where California is a region and it doesn't have any location information, so you can't publish it. There's no options here. And you can also see a few different pieces of information on the screen. If there's any missing information, we call that a data issue, and we want to call that out to you before you publish, so you can go in and update that information. You can turn publishing on or off. This is kind of like a safety switch. If you have already published or don't ever want to publish, you could just switch this to off, and then the publish system would not work for that specific location. And then we also have a few different statuses here. So if it has been published, we give it a blue check mark. If it's not yet published, we gray that check mark off just to let you know you've never publish that information to our listing sites. And then if you've updated information but not published again, we give you this or an exclamation point to tell you that things have been updated but you haven't published it. The other thing that I want to point out on listings is now through Google My Business, they're allowing us to update listing sites for practitioners, or as we call it in our system, agents. So in addition to having like a location page on Google or Facebook, you can also publish your agents to have their own listing page if you want that. So all of these features that I'm showing off for listings are also available at the agent level, and you can manage that yourself, or you can let agents manage their listings as well. So going into that, you can go to your a specific location. This is for our Orlando location, and I can see that in the past it has been published to 39 different sites. I'm still pending on 9, and I need to authorize 2. Normally, you'd get an authorization required if you clicked publish, but you haven't set up a connection to Google or Facebook, and you just need to authorize the ability to publish listings information to those sites. So when you publish, you would just click this publish button, and before you publish, we give you just a rundown of everything that you've updated before this publish. So you can see this account has updated quite a few things, including category, tagline, business hours. So once I review that, yes, I do want to update all of those things, I would just click confirm, and then it would publish to all of our different listings websites. So on the page for that specific location, you would see a list similar to this, where I would see the sites that I've published to, and you would also get a link to view that site. Similarly, if you are managing listings, you don't have to go to the profile or the hierarchy to update that information. You can do it directly from the listings interface. It's all of the exact same information that you have on profiles. All of this is connected. On our side, on the engineering side of this, it's actually even the same component that we use. You're just able to pull it up directly on the listings interface. So you can come here and update your business hours and then save that and publish it. So just makes it a little bit easier, so you're not kind of fishing all around our interface to update information that you can do directly as you're working on publishing your listings pages. So the next thing that we can chat about is review management. So our review management product is kind of the evolution of something that was pretty major in the current version of the platform that you may be used to. But one of the things that we've added in here are all of these different filtering options. So in addition to just getting a list of reviews, now you can search reviews for specific keywords or agents. You can filter it by date if you wanted to get only reviews in the last 30 days. You can filter by star rating. So if you are a manager that is going through and you want to reply to reviews that have gotten a bad rating, you can take this down to 3.5 stars, and then you can also check whether it's already been replied to or not. I can say uncheck yes, so I only want to see reviews that haven't been replied to, and under that rating, and then I would get a list of only those reviews, and I can just go through and reply to all of those poor reviews and try to turn them into good reviews, and really manage that experience of the customers. So what that looks like, here is a review in our review list. So this was a very good review, but if we want to reply to it, I would just click this reply button. I would enter the comment, hey, thanks, thank you for your continued, whatever you have there, and you can send that off, and it would reply. You can also reply to Google and Facebook reviews if you have that connection set up. You can do that directly from this interface. You could even filter by source. So if I wanted to filter and only see reviews from Google, I could only see reviews from Google, and I could reply directly in the interface there. Also from this, if you wanted to manually share, you would just click one of these share buttons. You can manually share to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or just copy the code and paste that wherever you wanted to paste it. So the last thing that I want to chat about today, I know we're coming up a little bit on the hour, and I want to take some time to answer any questions that might be in the chat, or if anyone has any other questions. But a little bit about campaigns. Each campaign will individually have their own smaller dashboard than your main account dashboard. That way you could see specifically how that campaign is performing. You can see here, total responses. You can see the completion rate. You can see their net promoter score and your gateway promoter score if you have these questions enabled in your campaign. You can, if you haven't already set up campaign questions with your CSM, they would help you set these up, or as part of your onboarding process. But if you ever wanted to create a second campaign, you would come here to campaigns, and you can choose one of the many different question types that we are offering. You can type in the question, all the options. You can set it as a required question. You can turn on your gateway question or final review. If you did want to create some type of survey that is not a review-based survey, but you're just doing some sort of metric-based survey, you could actually turn off that review question, and it wouldn't create a review for you. You can also set up secondary workflows from here. I know in the past a lot of secondary workflows used things like custom HTML, but we've actually automated that process now, where you can connect directly to Google or Facebook, and so at the end of a survey, after they left the review, you can ask your customers to also leave a review on Google, and it would just be part of the same experience as your current survey. So you can do that here, and you can also do different secondary workflows for different experiences that they might have in the survey via the gateway question. And then also you can come in and customize any of your emails that are sent out. So this would be like the initial survey request. You can edit your logo, any of your text, and you can also use these dynamic fields. So if you wanted to, get the customer's name unique for each of the emails, you'd use the customer name dynamic field, and then you can use the agent name, agent signature, any of these dynamic fields that are specific to the customer that you're sending the survey request to. And then you can set that up for any of the emails that you send out via the survey system, like the reminder, a completion email. If they completed a survey but they left an unpleasant review, you can send out a custom email for that as well. And you can do all of these same things with via SMS. So if you are sending survey requests via SMS as well as email, or instead of email, you can come in and customize all of your text from this edit interface as well. And then finally, I just want to show you what the new survey taking experience would look like. So if I'm one of your customers and I'm leaving a survey for you, we have a new interface for that, which as you're building out your survey, you can also preview this before you even send it to a user to see what it would look like. So this is just one example of, how I would rate Social Survey out of 10. Of course, I'd give it a 10. And we also have mobile versions of these. So it's an example of a multiple choice question. On this page, we have an example of the secondary workflow where we move on to a review on Google. So that is pretty much the rundown of the interface today. As I mentioned, with each of you, as we schedule when you will be moving over to this, we'll also be doing more of a hands-on deep dive training with each of you. And throughout this week, if you have signed up for any of the other trainings, tomorrow we'll do a similar training for tier managers, and then the next day we'll do a training for agents. As I mentioned, a lot of this information will be the same, but if you've joined them, it might be good to join again just to hear this all over again. So thanks everyone for listening. We have about 10 minutes here. I will stop sharing and switch over to the questions. You can, feel free to add them into the chat. Okay, so I think, so the question is from Jason, are we able to automatically post to LinkedIn business pages? I think at this time, we're still working on getting a connection to post automatically to LinkedIn. So that's something that I don't think we have anyone from the product or engineering team on this call. So I can't answer that with much confidence. All I have heard is that it is something that we're looking into, but I think due to some of the LinkedIn terms of service, we have to get a specific contract with them that we just don't have yet. Okay, I need to start way up here. Just give me a question here. Okay, so Lauren is asking if there are product release notes or training materials that we can use to promote the rest of this to non-admins. So I'll be doing a similar presentation for non-admins on Thursday, and we will also have the videos, and we'll also have notes and the slides that I've presented available through your CSMs. I hope that answers that question, Lauren. Okay, so Matt Curry says he doesn't know who his customer success manager is. So let me see if someone can answer that. I'm not sure who is on from customer success. So Matt, let's get back to you on that. Oh, looks like Hina's been in here answering questions. And okay, sorry about that. I might be answering questions that someone has already answered. So Abby is asking if there's a way for clients to choose their preferred language when taking a survey. Yeah, we don't have that feature built in. Might be something that we might be able to use some sort of integration in the future for, though. Are there any questions that are not answered yet in the chat? I feel like Hina has been doing a great job of answering these. Okay, Michaela just sent me a question. I'm not sure if this has been answered yet. Can the customer reply to the replies? Currently in the interface, we don't have that. Customers can, or an agent or manager can request a retake of a survey. So if something's been answered or a review has been replied to, and the customer, wants to retake the survey, they can do that if an agent or a manager requests it. But right now we don't have anything where a customer can reply to the replies. Do we have any other questions that have not been answered yet that I can help out with? Okay, I'm not seeing anything in the chat right now. I'll give you guys a few minutes if you want to add anything to the chat, but also I just want to thank everyone for listening today and being a great audience. It looks like there's been a lot of great discussion in the chat that I missed out on while I was presenting. And I hope everything has been answered. Thank you, Hina, for jumping in and answering all of those questions. Hina is our product management lead, and she does a great job. So thank you, Hina. Okay, so looks like T has asked if we will get a recording of this training to review at a later time. So we did record this training, and Michaela, I'm not sure what the availability is or how it gets shared out with people. Maybe Michaela can answer how you guys can access this recording. But yes, we did record it to share out with you. Okay, so Erica is asking if there's an easier way to delete or resend incomplete surveys. The current platform only lets you delete and resend 4 at a time. Yeah, so incomplete surveys, we do have a new interface that will list all of your incomplete surveys, and you can perform bulk actions on those like delete or resend. So that is something that we have designed for the new survey campaign system. Hope that answers your question, Erica. Cool. Yeah, I'll give 2 more minutes for any questions, and then at that point I will close this out. Okay, just want to say in the chat, Michaela answered the recording question. The recording should be available by the end of the day today to anyone who's RSVP'd, and they will have access to the video on demand. We'll also email everyone with the on-demand video. Yeah, thank you, Lauren. Yeah, just again, I think we'll end it here. If you have any other questions, please reach out to your CSM team or anyone here at Social Survey. I think we'd all be excited and happy to answer any more questions. And we can't wait to get everyone onto this platform. It's something we've been working on for quite a while now and putting in days and nights into it. So we're so excited to have you guys. We're so excited to help guide you in this transition and hear all of your feedback and what we can do in the future to grow and make this platform the best thing it can be for you guys. So thanks again for your time, and hope to see some of you guys in the future, whether it's in presentations tomorrow, the next day, or maybe at the next summit if we do one of those later this year. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.